Welcome back. Now, after our scene render data is all computed, we have the opportunity to apply additional effects on top of everything. These are known as post-process effects, and we can do this using a post-process volume. Now, that's going to be another type of object we can add to the world, and we can click our drop-down and get our Place Actors panel and search here for post-process volume, and we can drag one in. Now, as soon as we do, we should see a cube, and I'm going to turn my camera speed down. We see a cube here, and it has its own gizmo, which suggests that we can move it around. Now, if we're inside of this post-process volume, then we'll see its effects. If we're outside of it, we will not, but there's a way to make this post-process volume affect the whole level. In the Details panel, we can search for Infinite, and we have Infinite Extent Unbound. And if we check that, then our post-process volume is now applied to the entire level. Now, I'm going to close my Place Actors panel. Now, the post-process volume allows us to alter the way our scene looks in different ways. The first thing I'm going to search for here is temp, and we have temperature. Now, for temperature type, we can choose white balance or color temperature. These are just the two different ways to alter the temperature of our scene. Now, if I choose white balance and check temp, I can drag this slider up and down to make my temperature of the scene look cooler or hotter. Cooler is going to be more blue, and hotter is going to be a bit brighter. Now, we don't want to go too crazy with this. We just want to adjust it very slightly. Now, I'm also going to search for bloom. Now, bloom has an intensity, and bloom is going to affect the aura surrounding lights. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-L to bring my sun into view. And notice it's very blurry, but if I bring that bloom intensity all the way down, there's now no longer an aura around it. So bloom is going to affect that sun as well as the lighting in our level quite a bit. So we can adjust that until the scene has the amount of bloom that we want. Now, another thing we can search for is brightness. And under exposure, we have min brightness and max brightness. And if I increase the min brightness, the scene gets darker. And if I decrease it, the scene gets brighter. Now, of course, you'll see that if the scene does get brighter, it sort of readjusts itself. And if we don't want that auto adjust, we can set min brightness and max brightness both to 1, and we won't get that automatic adjustment. Now, I'd like this scene to be a little bit brighter. So with max brightness set at 1, I'll set min brightness to 0.8. Now, another thing we can look at are the color values for our scene. If we scroll down, we'll see just under temperature we have global, and we can override these values. So if we check the checkbox for saturation, we can see what happens if we bring this value up and down. All the way down makes our scene black and white, and all the way up makes it way too bright. So we can find a happy medium between these two. We don't want it too faded, and we don't want it too colorful. I like a value slightly over 1, something like 1.04, 1.05. Now, after saturation, we have contrast. If we override this, we can drag it all the way up and all the way down to see the effect of contrast. I like a little bit higher than 1, so I'm going to set this to 1.04. Next, we have gamma, and this is going to affect the overall brightness of the scene as well. Now, I don't like it too bright. I don't like too high of a gamma. I'm going to set this down to about 0.96. Now we have a nice, clean, colorful scene. Now, shadows can be adjusted as well. Let's take a look at some of our shadows here. And if we take our saturation and bring it all the way up and all the way down, we'll see what happens. Basically, our shadows will have richer color or will be darker. I'd like them to be slightly darker, so I'm going to put this to 96 or 0.96. And the shadows can have their contrast adjusted as well. I like my shadows a little darker, so I'm going to bring that contrast up slightly, 1.2 or so, 1.19. Now the shadows can have their gamma adjusted as well. I'm going to bring this down a little bit so it's a little darker. We'll go to about 0.94. Now you can even change the color slightly as well. I'm going to make it a little bit blue, but don't go too overboard with that color. Now the midtones are usually okay to be left alone, but you can sort of see what those look like. Maybe bring the saturation down a little bit, but not much. Same with the contrast. You don't want to bring it too far away from 1, but I'm going to put it at 1.03. Now the highlights are another way to give a little bit of a finishing touch. We can bring them up or down. I'd like to bring them slightly down, as I do have some pretty bright colors in my scene that I'd like a little bit muted out. Same with contrast. I'm going to bring my contrast very, very slightly down. So I think I'm pretty happy with how this is starting to look. And while I'm at it, while I have the sun right here on the other side of this tree, I'd like to have some light shafts. And to do that, I need to go to my sun, my directional light, and search for shaft. And under shaft, we have light shaft bloom. If I check that, my sun is suddenly quite a bit brighter, but I can adjust my bloom scale. If I bring it down a bit, then my sun won't be too much brighter, and we'll have those light shafts. And it's easier to see if we get behind something and cast some shadows. And it also helps if my sun is not in the clouds. I'm going to bring it up and we'll see how this looks. So now we have some light shafts, also known as God rays. So that looks pretty good. All right, I think I'm pretty much done with my post-process effects, and this is looking pretty good. I'm not so sure that I'm happy with the ground textures. I think I keep flip-flopping on that, but I think I'm going to leave it as is for now. I think the scene is looking pretty good. I can hit F11 and G to see what this looks like in-game, and I can also playtest. Now, a shortcut to playtest in the Pi is Alt-P. If I hit Alt-P, then suddenly I can see the effects of my red sun. So everything is a lot redder with that red sun. Now that's pretty cool if you like it. If you don't, that's something that we could easily just remove from our level. But we can also select sun and go to rendering, and we see actor hidden in game. Now there's that word again, actor. You might have been seeing it here and there. We're going to talk a lot more about what an actor is when we get into programming and logic and blueprints, but for now, just know that everything here is an actor. I'm going to check actor hidden in game and hit play, and now as we're playing the game, we don't see the red from that sun. So the sun looked pretty cool when we made the sky and we had a nice pink sunset, but now I think I'm sort of getting over that red sun, so I think I'm going to remove it from my scene. So I can select it and hit delete. Now with my one and only sun, we can set its temperature down to a more reasonable value, and our world will look a little bit more natural. And of course, we might need to do some adjustments. On the post-process volume, I can look for brightness and adjust this as I need to. And I think I'll take that sun and search for shaft and turn its bloom scale just a little bit lower. So now you know lots of different parameters that you can tweak here to make your scene look exactly the way you want it to look. Great job. I'll see you soon.